Daily wages of estate workers increased. A drug price formula to be introduced from Friday. Public Utilities Commission probes the breakdown of the Nerochole power plant. Factions call to establish a presidential commission to probe the central bank bond issue. Fishermen staged a demonstration in Colombo against illegal fishing methods.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your primetime news bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Aishwarya Pinto. Let's start off with a look at your first story. A Blue-Green Era conference and exhibition was opened by President Maithripala Sirisena this morning.
The Sri Lanka Next exhibition and conference is being held at the BMICH. There are certain terms that we use in amiable discussions. In the present world, every vocabulary and dictionary consists of two words that depict the duties and responsibilities of all. They are sustainable development. For Sri Lanka, 2017 is the year for eradication of poverty. The 2017 budget has also given priority to eradicate poverty. Everyone in the state institutions are aware that the respective plans will be enforced. In order to eradicate poverty, the government policy will see priority being given to sustainable development. That is our aim and vision as well. The concepts of sustainable development and a blue-green era were introduced in accordance with the United Nations Charter on Environment, Climate Change and the Minimizing Global Warming. While working under those frameworks, we hope to build a more prosperous future. Resident Coordinator for the United Nations in Sri Lanka, Una Macaulay, donated the sum of $38.18 million from the Green Climate Fund. The President also presented over 80 green and environmental awards.
The Police Special Investigations Unit obtained a warrant from the Fort Magistrate today to conduct a search of the house and land owned by former Minister Kumara Welgama.
A house, building and its premises owned by Kumara Welgama located in the Horrible area down Palabath Road in Denniston Estate, Mathugama, was searched today. According to the former minister, a search party of around 50 officers including the ASP of the Special Investigations Unit took part in the operation. 3 police vehicles arrived at my premises. I asked them what was there to search in my garden. I heard something about 2 bulletproof vehicles been reported missing. They had arrived to inspect whether I had hidden the vehicles. Police sought permission to search the entire garden and they searched. I own several vintage vehicles and they inspected them. They then noted that a false complaint had been made and left. My great-grandfather, my grandfather, as well as my father are from this area. We had a reputation in this village. We have been disrespected. I am with the joint opposition. I was the first to step out of the SLFP Central Working Committee against the UMP SLFP joint venture. Kumar Welgama also noted that he would write to Speaker Karu Jayasuriya on the matter and added that this operation had caused harm to his reputation.
Heads and members of 5 independent commissions held separate discussions with the Speaker at the parliamentary complex today. A statement from the Speaker's office read that the Police, Procurement, Bribery, Elections and Finance Commissions held discussions with the Speaker. Attention had been drawn towards the current activities of the respective commissions and their future course of action.
Several views were expressed on the resignation of the Director General of the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, Dilruksh Dias.
The Director General handed over the letter of resignation yesterday. The President made his statement 2 days ago. The Director General and other directors of the Bribery Commission did not have any problems in their conduct. So the resignation was because of the statement made by the President. Is there any other reason?
The President did not directly mention the inefficiency of the Director General. He was speaking in general. What the President meant, that it would be better if these institutions could operate with more transparency.
We know that the COPE report is scheduled to be presented in the coming week. What is the institution that is bound to take legal actions on the report? So I suspect that the Director General may have resigned, so she will not have to take legal actions against her close friends and associates.
Recent events have reignited the debate on the central bank bond scam. Tonight we take a look at part 2 in a series of segments outlining the events thus far.
Following a discussion between several ministers, Arjuna Mahendran and then UNP Chairman Malik Samaravikrama, decisions were made to call for a bond issue of Rs 1 billion in February 2015. Strong allegations were made by opposing parties that a company connected to the son-in-law of the governor of the central bank was privy to privileged information, leading to a take-up of 10 billion rupees as opposed to the advertised figure of 1 billion rupees.
Mr. Governor, now on the 26th, when you wanted to increase it up to 10 billion,
yes.
Was this communicated to the primary dealers?
This was not. So basically, we advertised 1 billion and the Public Debt Department told me they would get something in the order of 1.5 billion. And when they informed me at that day that they had got 20 billion worth of orders, I then told them that, the government had indicated to me that they needed a large amount of money. And I told them, why don't we take half of that, 10 billion? And accordingly, the tender committee then went and chose, the lowest bids that they could get to generate that 10 billion.
But the problem right now, Mr. Governor, is the fact that this was not communicated to the primary dealers.
Well, it's in the past it wasn't either. The point is, how can we communicate that to primary dealers? Because we didn't know that we would get 20 billion worth of orders. The moment we opened the bids, we realized that there was much in excess of what we had originally anticipated in the auction.
On the 9th of March 2015, the President called for a committee to be appointed to look into the matter, taking into consideration allegations that the internal details of the bond issuance had been exposed and that the company owned by the son-in-law of the governor of the central bank had benefited through it. The Prime Minister took steps to appoint a 3-member committee which included Gamini Pitipana, Mahesh Kalugampitia and Tondimal Mendis, who had close affiliations with the UNP. General Secretary of the UPFA, Minister Mahinda Samaravira, lodged a complaint on the 16th of March 2015 at the Bribery Commission in this regard. Further details tomorrow.
Several factions continue to stress on the need to take action on the central bank bond issue.
It is clear that a certain fraud has taken place. The final report on this matter is yet to be released. Therefore, the law needs to be enforced so that this report is made public soon. If there is a delay in the law being enforced, then a presidential commission must be appointed to probe this and reveal details to the country.
Our stance is clear. The UPFA and the SLFP call for an inquiry into this. That is why we repeatedly question the Bribery Commission as to why they have not probed this matter. A probe has not taken place.
It is not good for the government when investigations have not been done. The delay is not good for the President and even the Prime Minister. We are of the stance that they need to focus on this in a more responsible manner.
This government came into power claiming that the rogues and corrupt would be exposed before the public. That is why an institution called the FCID was established. It was created for such persons. This policy of exposing rogues must apply to the governor of the central bank, his son-in-law and all those involved. Wickramasinghe speaks of the Lichavi administration. But we never came across a Lichavi administration that sells off the local resources and rips off the country. There is a massive protest against the former governor of the central bank. It is now the President's responsibility to use his executive powers to make a decision for a proper process.
Politics is too serious a matter to be left to the politicians. Charles de Gaulle, former French president.
As citizens, we are saddened by the fact that money is being wasted. We are saddened when we see our money being wasted through the television. Today, when another project under the Government the 100 Days initiative was given life, people rose up to voice their protest over the misuse of public funds.
Government the 100 Days initiative. For many years, the Devara village in Hampekamo, Thanamalvilla, was plagued due to the lack of clean drinking water. Today, through the Government 100 Days initiative, Newsfirst, together with the Sri Lanka Navy, took steps to provide clean drinking water for the village and stop the spread of chronic kidney disease in the area. We are against those who send out letters of demand. No government official has done anything for us. It is the Serasa Media Organization, together with the Sri Lanka Navy, that took steps to construct this water project. As villagers, we are not afraid of anything. We are with Serasa and the Sri Lanka Navy.
My only request is that if you need to undertake something for the betterment of the village and the country, please do something of this nature.
You should not be afraid of what you are undertaking. We know very well that you have done a lot of work for us. What we see is that there are people who try to prevent such good deeds from being done. Over in Kulegama, the Government the 100 Days initiative expanded our presence by initiating yet another water project.
What is essential more than anything else? Even our children suffered owing to the lack of clean drinking water. Following the completion of this project, we do not have to travel to Kakurulam Palace to obtain water.
Meanwhile, a team engaged in an inspection tour of the dilapidated Khandan Bridge. Work will commence at this location under the Government the 100 Days initiative in a few days.
Welcome back. Still to come in the news tonight. Swaths of territory recaptured from ISIS. Details on the News First International Desk.
The Public Utilities Commission has decided to investigate the sudden breakdown of the Norachale coal power plant. Due to the ongoing power shortage, many areas excluding the Greater Colombo and several other selected zones will experience a daily power outage of 1.5 hours.
It was revealed yesterday that hydropower generation has dropped to 34% due to the arid weather conditions that continue to affect the country. Thereby, 65.5% of the power requirement is supplied via thermal plants, and this requirement for the past few days was provided through the Norachale coal power plant. Operations of one electricity supply line from Norachale was seized for maintenance recently. However, due to the imbalance caused by using the second line from Norachale to transmit power, the Norachale coal power plant suffered a technical failure. Pipes on one system were damaged while the pipes in the second system caught fire due to an overload. At present, all three power units, which generate 300 megawatts of electricity each, are inactive. This power plant came under strong criticism in the past and suffered 2 breakdowns this year alone, which left the entire country in darkness. The power plant was constructed at a cost of $1.346 billion based on an agreement reached with the China Machinery Engineering Corporation, or CMEC, and the Ceylon Electricity Board. The maintenance of the Norachale power plant is mainly handled by the Chinese. In addition, an exorbitant cost had to be borne for maintenance, repairs and for the Chinese expertise.
If we look at ourselves as a country, it is an extremely disappointing situation that we are in at the moment. This power plant has broken down around 50 times since it was constructed, and we are still unable to figure out how to run it. This is a moment we have to think deeply about how to run its systems. Our engineers have been working on this power plant since 2011, so they have had enough time to ascertain how this system functions. Now it is an issue as to whether or not this is happening. This is a good example, so we have to reconsider if we can in fact manage such massive power plants in the country. Long-term plans are still dependent on this power plant. If there are so-called experts in the CEB, why couldn't they take protective measures to prevent the breakdown of the whole system when one transmission line suffers a breakdown? Why was such a power plant constructed? How was such a power plant constructed while there were intellectuals and experts in this field at the CEB? You cannot probe into malpractices in the CEB by appointing officers and committees from the CEB. There are presidential commissions and the FCID. If a committee is appointed to probe only the CEB, then all these acts will be exposed. We have to experience an issue with regard to electricity due to the failure of the Norotchole plant. The Commission will probe into this. The Commission will focus on how to salvage this power plant and also the operations of this power plant.
A group of fishermen from areas including Kalpiti and Putlam staged a protest against the use of illegal fishing methods in Colombo today.
The group of fishermen marched from the Vihara Mahadevi Park in Colombo to the President's office. They charged that the use of Laila and Surukko fishing nets will destroy the fishing resources in the deep sea. The group of protesters also pointed out that these destructive fishing methods also pose a threat to the mangrove environment. The Lotus Road in Colombo was temporarily closed owing to the protest, and the President's office took measures to hold discussions with a few protesters. Following a discussion held with the Senior Assistant Secretary, a promise was made to resolve the issue by the 25th of this month. The protesters dispersed following the discussion. Meanwhile, artists staged a demonstration today citing that the Sudarshi Cultural Institute, which boasts of a history of over 62 years in Sinhala culture, is to be handed over to a Japanese NGO. The group of protesters commenced the protest opposite the Sudarshi Cultural Institute and marched towards the Embassy of Japan.
We are hoping to resolve this issue today. If solutions are not provided, we will continue to conduct similar demonstrations in this premises till we receive a solution. This is the only Sinhalese cultural centre in Sri Lanka. We are against them for trying to take this away from us.
If you have any respect and honor towards the artists in this country, please let us use this cultural centre in peace.
According to the Prime Minister's media unit, the European Union has pledged to provide development aid worth €210 million to Sri Lanka by 2020. During the period between 2007 and 2013, Sri Lanka received half this sum as aid from the EU.
According to the Prime Minister's media unit, the aid is being provided to assist the government in establishing lasting peace, resettlement and the development of rural areas. A release issued by the media unit also notes that the EU had commended Sri Lanka for the progress they have achieved over the past 21 months. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is on an official tour to Belgium, met with European Council President Donald Tusk. The Prime Minister and his delegation met with Tusk at the headquarters of the European Council in Brussels. This is the first occasion on which a Sri Lankan Prime Minister met with the President of the European Council. During the meeting, Tusk had pledged to support Sri Lanka to regain the GSP Plus concession.
A joint agreement was signed today to increase the daily wages of estate workers. Accordingly, the daily wage of estate workers has been raised to 730 rupees.
Earlier, the daily wage of an estate worker, including all allowances, was 650 rupees. A revision of the daily wage of estate workers takes place once in 2 years. The revision of wages for last year was due in March. However, owing to the non-revision of wages, several protests were staged by estate workers over the past few days. Following the trade union action, a joint agreement was signed to increase the daily wage. I should note that all associations under the Ministry of Plantations encouraged us to arrive upon this decision. We have also decided to provide fertilizer subsidies to estates. We arrived at this decision after taking around 2 to 3 factors into consideration. We believe that following this joint agreement, we could take the plantation sector to a better level. Once the tea price increases, we will address the rest of the issues faced by the workers. However, for now, this is the best we could do.
Minister of Health Dr. Rajitha Senaratne announced that the Gazette notification on the price reduction of 48 essential drugs as per the Senaka Bibile policy will be published on Friday.
We have decided to reduce the prices of 48 selected medicinal drugs. There are 100 drugs that are commonly used, and the most used drug is called Atova, and it will be reduced to 11 rupees and 15 cents from its current price of 21 rupees and 16 cents, a reduction of 10 rupees and 45 cents. Secondly, we have the expensive drugs including those used to treat cancer. We will regulate their prices as well. If we take the first 24 in the list of 100, we can save $31 million. We have spoken to 27 pharmaceutical companies and have also obtained cabinet approval to produce these drugs. We are prepared to produce 75% of the drugs that are currently being imported. It will be issued on Friday and will come into effect at midnight.
A lorry collided with another vehicle along the Udawalawe road in Amlipitia this morning. You reporter Danushka Namal reports.
An accident took place opposite the Bodimalua school along Amlipitia Udawalawe road around 7:30 this morning. A motor vehicle travelling from Amlipitia crashed into two other vehicles parked beside the road as the driver could not control the speed of the vehicle. Two individuals sustained injuries and were admitted to the Amlipitia hospital.
Newsfirst reporter Danushka Namal, Udawalawe City.
The Eisenhower Day Celebrations Conference 2016 under the theme The Trail of Nanotechnology and Extraterrestrial Life took place in Colombo today.
The event was organized by the Eisenhower Fellowships Association of Sri Lanka in collaboration with the Sri Lanka Institute of Nanotechnology. Professor Chandra Wickramasinghe, an astrobiologist from Cardiff, UK, made the guest speaker's presentation on the topic New Research Shows Certainty of Extraterrestrial Life. Deputy Minister Harsha De Silva was among those present for the conference.
We have to be stern, we have to have our policy, we have to formulate a policy and we have to stick by that policy. You can't sway one day this way, one day the other way. If that happens, inconsistency in policy creates a sense of mistrust and sense of, unable to deliver kind of message goes. So you must stick to that and you must implement that. And I think for governments in this country, for a long period of time, being unable to stick to a policy has caused us multiple difficulties over the years.
The third unofficial four-day test match between Sri Lanka A and West Indies A commenced today at the Rangiri Dambulla International Stadium. Batting first, Sri Lanka A scored 272 for 7 when play was halted due to bad light.
Having won the toss, Sri Lanka A captain Lahiru Thirimanne elected to bat first. Sandhu Virakodi and Kusal Jonit Pereira opened the batting for Sri Lanka A. Virakodi scored 79 runs while Kusal Jonit scored 69. Charit Asalanka and Roshan Silva chipped in with 46 and 40 runs respectively. Rakim Cornwall bagged 3 wickets for 93 runs. The series is currently level with both teams having won one encounter.
And that's a wrap of your primetime news tonight. I'm Aishwarya Pinto.
And I'm Shane Silva. Take care and good night.